All right, so we're going to run a quick map here first before we start talking about the build. This is a build that I've been playing for the Flashback event in SSF Softcore. Currently rank 2, rank 3, I think, Elementalist. It's been super fun. So we're playing an Elementalist, and we're playing a like a life-based, non-mind over matter version of the Detonate Dead Necromancer build that's been going around recently. And it's been super, super enjoyable. I was looking for something fun to play this league. I was thinking about playing some Call of Steel Ground Slam, but ultimately, it wasn't really a build that I thought would hold my attention span all the way to 100. Because I kind of like my builds to be a little bit more interesting than that. And not just like, you know, one-shot everything in the game with a white weapon on a 3-link, etc. So, we're playing this. The inspiration behind this build comes from, as far as I know, Paak_HC, who streams as well, and then Waggle. I think they were both playing the Necromancer DD build during what was it? During Zizarin's Gauntlet League, and the build was particularly good there because it had super high defenses, didn't go agnostic, made good use of energy shield and energy shield recovery. And then also scaled with the life mods that were on that league as well, because that's also scaled corpse modifiers, which made the Detonate Dead build do exceptional damage during that league. So, what am I doing? I'm playing an Elementalist basically because it's a racing choice. I wanted to play a lesser played Ascendancy, and then have a good build that I could port over to that Ascendancy. And try to get myself a demi. So we'll see if that actually works out. I think I rolled 2 bosses on this. There we go. There's the other guy. Bloop. Looking good. This is an I-81 shore map. Oh, that's a neat build. Grab some stuff. Grab this. Grab that. And then let's get out of here, right? Let's just bomb. Get out of here. So let's walk through the build just for a second here. I really enjoyed the build. It has huge AoE. It does exceptionally well during Heist and during like big scuffed up content with tons and tons of monsters. The damage scale is very high based on density. Our main links here. This should be familiar if you've seen the Necro version in the past. This is a Detonate Dead Spell Cascade Unleash, which is like kind of a lot of AoE just by itself. Then we also have Ellie Focus. We're not scaling Ignites. We have Fire Penetration and Inspiration. The Necromancer version of this build uses Energy Shield Leech, and they also use a belt that allows them to make sure that they're always leeching and not on full ES. It also gives them a bit of extra defenses to scale as well. But I'm purely a life-based build. I'm currently 7.4k life with 70 life in my chest piece. As soon as we end up linking this thing, this is a Guadalupe chest piece with hybrid life as an open prefix. I'll probably put % life, % mana on this, and that'll bump me up to like about 8,000 life. So we should be decently tanky there. Let me show you roughly what the POB looks like, just so I can kind of walk you through this as well. So this is my current character, level 95 in SSF Softcore. We had planned to go block, similar to how the Necromancer build went block as well. But I had the opportunity of jumping into Paak's stream and talking to him about it, because he was playing an Elementalist Detonate Dead build, life-based, very similar to this, in hardcore Flashback in Trade League. And his character just died, so I wanted to jump in there and ask him about it. I'll put a link to his Twitch stream in the channel in the description below. But so in order to get block, we basically would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, plus roomies, and then potentially also plus glancing blows, depending on our gear and stuff. So it's kind of like 13 or 14 points. It's a lot of points. If we instead don't take those points, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, maybe 13, 14. These are the last 2 points that I ended up grabbing for myself. And it's a significant amount of life. It's like 1,200, 1,300 life in my case, and it'll be even more once I put on my new chest piece. So, at the end of the day, because we can only cap with Glans and Blows, because I don't even have a roomies yet in SSF, I think it makes a lot more sense to just drop all of that and then just have tons and tons of life. So I have a bunch of like life recovery per second from things like this, or life regeneration, which scales well if you have a bigger life pool, right? On top of that, we also have all of our normal golems that we grab from the Elementalist Ascendancy. I think this is pretty much the only way that I would want to build an Elementalist Ascendancy. I think this is the only way that I want to build a Elementalist these days, because I think it's pretty good. You have enough damage coming in from Mastermind and Discord, lots of penetration as well, maybe some mana reservation stuff so that you can do extra cool stuff with your mana. And then we also have a bunch of golems. So again, we're using stone for life regeneration, chaos golem for a bunch of physical damage reduction, which is not completely accounted for in POB. So it's always a little bit higher than POB has because it's not typed in the right way for some reason. We also have Flame Golem for a bunch of increases to our damage, and Lightning Golem for a bunch of attack and cast speed to make our shield charge nice and fast, and our cast speed super smooth. So that feels good so far. Not too much else to say on this. The key parts of the build are AoE, 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 as much AoE as possible. We're scaling elemental damage. We're not scaling spell damage. So Detonate Dead has two components to it. It has a spell component and it has a corpse explosion component. That's why this build can deal so much damage with virtually no gear, just a 5 or 6 link. So if you look at this, we have 151 total DPS here. We can also click down to this for corpse explosion for 198. So what really matters, like, well, let's look at the average hit. We're going to look at the average hit of this. We can combine these together and see that it's maybe 100k, and it's maybe 100k times 12. Because when we desecrate, we're putting down 12 corpses. When we unleash spell cascade or detonate dead, it's going to be about 12 as well. Another important thing for the build, I have about 6 points spec'd in for golem and specter survivability, so that I'm not using convocation to try to give them just like a little bit of extra life regen per second. So which means my left click is not bound to anything right now. So we have 4 points here just for like life and life regen to keep them nice and alive. And then we have these 2 points here. I think you can get away with these 2 points, but frankly, the only thing that's ever going to kill my golems is chaos damage, and particularly they die during the Al-Hizmeen fight itself. So I think you can probably cut these points, but I have them in here just for chaos resistance. The most important nodes for this particular build, aside from like life and AoE, we have Golem Commander up here for increased effect of our buffs, and then this gives us our 4th Golem for the build. And then we also have Undertaker, and the important part is these 2 first nodes. Is the corpses you spawn have increased maximum life, and then the same line of text here again. Undertaker, plus 2 maximum corpses from Desecrate puts us up to 12, so that we can put down 12, explode 12, just like that while we're clearing maps. In the configuration tab, enemy corpse life, the average life of the corpses that we put down is going to be about 20k. If we could magically only summon the corpses that we have as specters, then this would be significantly higher. This would be like 90,000 or so. And you can really tell when you detonate dead, the corpses that you have as a specter, in my case, I have 2 specters here following me around. If you do DD one of those, when you cast your Desecrate, you have a huge burst of damage because it's significantly higher damage. So we can talk about these guys real quick. I have 2 specters following me around at all times. I have a level 20, I guess it's level 21. Level 21 raised specter gem, 21 does not matter. I have a giant gladiator statue. You can see on top of the screen, right up there. Maybe up there this time. Giant gladiator statue comes from Act 3 in the marketplace. And we also have a auto enforcer, is this other line of text here. The auto enforcer comes from Tunnels. He's the guy who uses the skill that looks like it's going to one-shot you, which is a tiny bit scary. When I run Tunnels right now, I kind of dodge out of the way of the attacks of my own specter because it scares me. So maybe that's a downside of the build, but it's still quite enjoyable. Let's jump back to this, go back to POB. What else matters here? Consumed a corpse recently. We have Fortify. We have Chilled and Shock. Shock does not affect my damage, even if I type in the number 17, because POB, remember, has been updated to already take into account my skitterbots, so I don't need to type in anything if I'm only using skitterbots here. So Sand Stance. So we're blinding things. We can talk about mana reservation. I'm not Mind Over Matter. I think going Mind Over Matter on the Elementalist version of this build is not a good choice, because Necromancer has way more synergy with Mind Over Matter, given the Essence Glutton node in the Ascendancy. I chose to drop Mind Over Matter And because of that, I'm using a bunch of mana reservation, a bunch of auras here. We have Herald of Ash, similar to the Necromancer version. But then we also have Flesh and Stone for an enormous AoE blind. And then we also have Skitterbots for shock. A little bit of extra damage. I'm choosing not to take Unwavering Stance. Remember that being stunned is a function of your HP pool total, your red health, not your white health, not your blue health. Only red health relative to the size of the incoming attack. If you have 7,000, 8,000 HP, like I do on this character right here, you really don't need to take Unwavering Stance, except for like extremely extenuating circumstances. For me, I'm never going to get stunned. And also, if I take Unwavering Stance, I can't use Flesh and Stone. And I love Flesh and Stone. So this is a choice that I'm making right here. If your mind over matter, if a significant portion of your HP is actually mana and your mind over matter, then yeah, Unwavering Stance makes a ton of sense for you. But because I'm life-based, because I'm going to have like 8k life, and because I want to use Flesh and Stone for mana reservation purposes, yeah, I'm going to avoid taking Unwavering Stance. And in fact, I didn't take it. Is there anything else to talk about here? I think those are about the thoughts that I wanted to share with you. The build's been way more fun than I thought it was going to be. We just grabbed our aggressive Bastion Anointier, which means that we have a chance to get an endurance charge on kill while holding a shield. We have a +1 shield here. Just a mopey subterranean weapon that I found while I was delving. I wanted to make sure that my cast speed was as fast as possible. So I tried rolling some gloves with more attack and cast speed. So this is where my Desecrate is, just to make it super, super snappy. I can Desecrate 5 times a second. It's useless, but I can, and that's great. Let's see. We have Onslaught on kill as an Abyss Jewel. We have some big life with some movement speed in our boots. Flammability on hit means that I don't need to use trigger to put flammability on things. And then we just ended up alt spamming this this amulet. It has fire damage, leeches life. I wanted to find a maybe an incursion amulet that had fire damage, leeches life. Maybe a delve amulet or even a delve ring that had fire damage, leeches life. But I couldn't find one, so I alt spammed this, and it turned out much better than expected. So that's what we're currently using. Bunch of life, Fizz taking this Ellie on our helmet, and that is about the end of our gear. Again, we're only using this this Kingsguard because it happens to be 6-linked. Honestly, I could use a Tabula and I would still be over 7k life. It's pretty thick. And then ultimately, when we put this thing on, we'll end up having like maybe 8k life or so. So that should be pretty good. I don't know if there's anything else I want to touch base on. We're currently like rank 2 or so. We got a lot of blasting to do today. We're currently like at the beginning of day 3, day 4, day 3, day 4. The days blur together because of COVID. But we'll put in another good push today. We're probably going to do a whole bunch of heisting, because heisting with this build is an absolute dream. It's super, super easy. You just blow up the entire screen. Absolute MVP. You know what? This is something that's worth calling out. The actual MVP of this build is, where's my Herald of Ash on? Is, scroll. Herald of Ash with Celestial Herald effect. That's the real MVP of this build. It's been a good time. All right, so I'm off to blasting. YouTube, I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for being here.